that if you are looking within that cost, that your focus should be into the days to come, that your greatest benefit from your plot is not now, but is in the days to come. And the Bible definitely encourages us to prepare for the days to come. So my encouragement to you is that as you plan to get land of 5 million, just know you are doing as the politicians say, securing your future all the days to come. I also note that your next plot of land is on the other side of fear. Usually people with 3 million, 5 million are always scared, but because people have often thought that for me to acquire land, I need too much money. So those ones that have very little money are always scared to go for it. But I want to tell you today that your next plot of land is on the other side of fear. Don't be scared. Don't fear. Even with your 5 million, 8, 7, you can be able to get land on the parameters that I'm going to share with you later today. I'll share a little bit about radiuses. I shared last time, but I'll add on to that about radiuses. I'll probably try to be a little bit more detailed. And I also end by sharing with you some of the options available on the market. Your first step forward is to accept to settle for those locations that offer plots within a range of 5 million to 10 million shillings. I have moved my screen. Has it moved that side?
No, let me check. And yet you're
No,
the
it
host.
hasn't.
No, it hasn't. It has moved. Yes, I think I've seen it move.
Okay. So your first step forward is to accept to settle for those locations that offer plots within a range of 5 million shillings to 10 million shillings. I am saying this basing on the economic concept on the screen that I've just shared now, that if you had 300,000 shillings and wanted to buy a phone, definitely the options to pick from will not include a Samsung Galaxy S23 or an iPhone 15. When you enter the phone shop, you'll have to pick an Infinix or a Tecno. So the same principle will apply to land, that when you have 5 million shillings, you need to accept that, okay, 5 million, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 can get in such and such locations. Once you are able to accept that, then it becomes easy for you to get land. In my practice daily, the challenge I have faced is a lady comes with, let's say, 5 million shillings or 6 million shillings, and then they boldly ask you, temuinaka opolotie seta. Okay. Of course, probably it could be because she doesn't know, but she has also not settled in her heart that the money she has can only be able to get in a certain location. Just hold on a bit. Rita, can you just allow me 1 minute to take this?
It's okay. It's okay. Let me just remind people here, Auntie, with 500,000, tasobola again our iPhone, no G. No immediate cost to your iPhone, no bagama jagala iPhone 15. So
300,000.
300,000. So
Umutasa kafeero oyinza ofuna.
Ate bela iPhone wano mukugula ngeri mugamba Tecno. Bagambye
Eba iPhone mpaka bw'otandika startinga. When you start it nekulaga Infinix.
so batugambye
Temugula iPhone nga munda makeup kit. Awo kumutasa kafeero.
But when you with your heart, you need to tell your heart, you know what, this money can get me land, but not in Nansana. Otherwise, you will
In
experience
Nansana,
what.
no, by the way, you can
Yes,
get,
you
but
can
you know
get.
when Kugambi, it is those who chop up 50 by somethings.
50 by
So I have
20.
25 by 15.
Ako kosanga nga bazimbye.
Ako kosanga nga the rain ngenkuba etonya wa neighbor. Like they tell you,
Yeah.
manage your iron sheets.
So I'm back, Rita. Sorry
Alright.
about. So Kati, so I wanted to begin there. Knowledge that, okay, this money can only get me here. Because even when I pick on I'll later on share about what you've been talking about. But even when they take you to Nansana, at least no one will ever allow to say, bangambye, waliwo poloti ya $5,000,000 ewandegeya. They will not accept it. At least they will say, okay, Nansana, maybe they will accept a bit. So that is one of the first steps to take. So I now go to speak about options that can range in such monies in different radiuses from the city center. I have tried to talk about the different roads, and where I have put red color, it means impossible. Where I have put a little bit of mpigi, rather orange, means there could be a possibility, but you have to look thoroughly. Where I have put green, it means you have, let's say, an 80 to 100% chance of getting land in that location within that money. So when I begin with Masaka Road, if you know what Masaka Road is, or if you know it, where we have areas like Busega, Chengera, Budo, Nabingo, Nsanji, Maya, Katende, Mpigi, Mpambire, Buama, Kayabwe, Lukaya, all the way up to Masaka. So if you look at the areas where I've put red means it's not possible to get land of 5 million, 8, 7 within that location. That when you find any person telling you that they have land of 5 million or 7 million in Ibudo, then you should be a little bit skeptical. But if you would want to get land on Masaka Road, there could be someone who's Martin. Okay, he has muted. So if someone calls you for land in Mpigi or slightly beyond at 5 million, 6, 7, the options are available. I've looked at land of 5 million within Mpigi, but of course, a distance out of Mpigi town. Let's say you're going to move about 10, 8, 12 kilometers off Mpigi town. Let's say on this road that goes to Gomba, Sembabule, you can get land there within that money. And I have put for you the distance from Kampala, that if you're to get land after Mpigi, then you're dealing with a minimum of 35 kilometers from Kampala. That's Masaka Road. When I talk about Mitiana Road, the one I have just highlighted now, I am talking about Buloba, Buyala, Bulenga, Bujuko. You go to Muduma, Jeza, Zigoti, up to Mitiana, Mubende, continue until you reach maybe Kasese, Fort Poto. That Buloba, Buyala, Bulenga, Bujuko, you cannot be able to get money, to get land within that range of money. But when you are heading towards Muduma, Jeza, and they call you for land within that range of money, the possibility is there. Though still you would have to go a little bit off the tarmac. Let's say about 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers inside for you to be able to pay 5, 6, 8 million in Muduma or Jeza. When you reach Zigoti, the possibility is higher. And I have put for you that by the time you get to Zigoti, you have moved 50 kilometers from Kampala. but the land could be there, or I can say is there, of 5 million when you look thoroughly. Maybe to just clear the air more, the land I am talking about here is genuine land. Genuine land, a 50 by 100 feet plot with a land title. That's what I am talking about in all the examples that I'm giving. Genuine land with a land title, 50 by 100 feet or slightly more. My discussion is entirely premised upon something clean. So I move to Hoima Road now. Hoima Road will include areas like Nansana, Naluvule, Kavule, Wakiso, Namusera, Nkowe, Chikubampanga, Kachiri, Chikandwa, Nampunge, Gobero, Namayumba, Busunju, Bukomero, till you reach Hoima. There are very many towns and localities there. As you notice, the red here has become more. One of the roads that people despise, but is actually quite costly, is Hoima Road. That you'll move a long distance without finding cheaper land. You realize that even Busunju Bukomero, I have not made it green. I have made it orange, that there could be a possibility. When you move from Kampala to Busunju, where I have highlighted now, it means you have moved 56 kilometers from Kampala. But at least I can tell you, when you look for land of 5,000,067 in Busunju, you can get good land with a land title at about 5, 6, 7 million. You can get, it's there. I'll move on to Bombo Road. Bombo Road includes Bwaise, Kawempe, Kawanda, Matuga. We all know that road. Bombo, Wobulenzi, Luwero, Nakasongola, till you reach the north. And you notice that the red here stops at Matuga, that you drive up to Matuga and you will really not get land of 5 million. Maybe later on I could answer that, okay, these areas where you have put red, you can get at how much? But I'm not going there because our theme points us towards 5 million, 6, 7, around there. So you see that I have made Bombo, Wobulenzi, Luwero, color yellow, or color yellow. It means that there is a possibility for you to get land in Bombo, let's say 6, 7 million. And I have put for you that the distance between Kampala and Bombo is 35 kilometers. Of course, I am assuming that people understand what these kilometers are, especially those ones that drive or those that move a lot. You can get land in Wobulenzi at 5 million, 6, 7, 8. You will get it when you look properly. You will get, of course, a small distance of about 3, 4 kilometers of tarmac. Wobulenzi is 50 kilometers from Kampala. You will get land of 5 million shillings in Luwero when you look properly. Not in Luwero town, because at that point you're now dealing with the town, and land in towns tends to go a little bit high in price. But Luwero is 70 kilometers from Kampala. The land is there. The beauty with, let's say, Luwero now is that you can even be lucky enough to get something bigger than a 50 by 100 feet plot. But you would have to, let's say, to go off tarmac a little bit. Let's say you move 7 kilometers inside, 10 kilometers inside. So if you move 7 kilometers off Luwero, you're dealing with 77 kilometers or 80 kilometers. Like I've told you, the advantage is that you can now get something bigger. I was in a deal recently. We branched off Luwero town, heading towards an area called Chichusa, which is about 15 kilometers or 12 kilometers from Luwero. It made our total distance 82 kilometers. But I met people that got an acre of land at about 9 million shillings. That's that side of Luwero. So when I talk about Bombo Road, I will still speak about off Semto Road, because when you reach Matuga, there's a road on your left called Semto Road, and that includes areas like Sanga, Kavule, Gombe, Chiwewa, Chirolo, Kanyanda, Kagembe, Semuto, up to Kapeka. It continues and connects to all other regions. So still where I've put red, Sanga, Kavule, Gombe, Chweba, Chilolo, it is hard or it is not possible to get within that money. Those areas will still give you a range of 35 kilometers from Kampala. But slightly after Chilolo, there is an area called Kanyanda, Kagembe. There you can get land. 6-7 million. Good plots there. I have seen them. And then you're dealing with just 45 kilometers from Kampala. Then when you reach Semuto, which is 50 kilometers from Kampala, there is a possibility of getting land within a good range of, let's say, 8 to 10 million. The only challenge or difficulty you will face is that now Semuto is a town, so you will be dealing with town prices. But slightly out of Semuto, the prices will go back to normal because at that point you'll be heading towards Kapeka. And as you head towards Kapeka, still you have the same advantage. You can now get something bigger than 50 by 100 at 5, 6, 7 million. You can even get a plot of 100 by 100 or half acre at 5, 7 million as you head towards Kapeka. But towards Kapeka, you are now dealing with about 65 kilometers from Kampala. I now go to Ginger Road. When you look at my Ginger Road here, everything is red. Everything is red on Ginger Road. It's because it's a road where it is not possible, or I should use the word not easily possible, because it's one of the major arteries to the city center between two big cities, that is Jinja and Kampala, with another peripheral that competes with cities, that is Mukono. You have in between there Lugazi. That is what has made this road very expensive. Even when you move a little bit off, I know locations that are off that road, but I still know you will not get at 5, you might get like at 8, maybe 10. Setanazigo, Namawojolo, you go inside Namawojolo, you can get like at 8, 10. You branch at Lugazi, enter inside there where they are doing sugarcane, areas called like Chikube. As you're heading towards Vuikwe, you can get, let's say, still like at 8, 10. So I am trying to paint a picture that Ginger Road presents more difficulties. I'll continue a little bit because Ginger Road is divided into 3. When you go still off Kayunga Road, Nasuti, Namachi, Sowera, Mpoma, Kavembe, Kalajina, Galama, na Chifuma, it is still hard to get land within that money. But after Nachifuma, the areas like Indese, Namaliri, Kavimbiri, you reach Bukoloto, as if you've used that road that comes out at the bridge, that long road where you drive about, let's say, 90 kilometers before you reach the bridge. Now, in those locations, you can get land. The disadvantage with most of those locations, not all, but most, is that land there belonged to the Kingdom of Buganda. A long discussion, but land there, most of it, not all of it, most of it belonged to the Kingdom of Buganda. So finding titled land there proposes a challenge to you. I also continue with another road called Off Katosi Road, where you have Wantoni, Chetume, Namayuba, Chisoga, Chiola, up to Nkokonjeru. That other road also circles, and then you still come out at the bridge, where you go past Naja, Nyenga, and then you end up at the bridge. It is also hard. I have seen up to Nkokonjeru, companies are selling plots of 50 by 100, maybe 8 million. I can probably mark Nkokonjeru, let's say, with another color, a little bit of yellow, that in Nkokonjeru, you can get, let's say, like at 8 million, 10 million. But by the time you've reached Nkokonjeru, Najja, Buyikwe, you're dealing with about 70 kilometers from Kampala. So as I finish, I will now talk about the options. There's what we call Chibanja, and I think it has a relationship with what I found you people discussing, that they will sell to you land at 5 million when it is Chibanja. Chibanja is land which is not titled. Usually, we have a long explanation for what Chibanja means, but let me just use a few words to explain to you what Chibanja means. Chibanja, if you know Luganda, it comes from the word Bakubanja. So I would say if you buy Chibanja land, it means Bakubanja. Or to better put it more cleanly is that you're buying something that belongs to someone else. You can use it, but it belongs to someone else. That's why they call it occupancy right, that the only right that you have on that land is to occupy, culminating into what we see on TV these days, where people come and just chase you away, grade you in the night, because you had bought something that belongs to someone. This includes land that belongs to Buganda Kingdom. Of course, the advantage that's there at the moment is that the kingdom will never wake up and then chase people away. But like I tell people usually, the disadvantage is that in the years to come, Buganda Kingdom will legitimize their ownership. And according to the law, if you are on someone's thing, you must pay for it. So it's the disadvantage that people who are on Kabaka land are yet to face in the future. They'll have to pay rent on the land that belongs to the kingdom. It's not happening now, but for us, we know at a certain point in the future, it will happen. People will have to pay what we call usuru, or what you hear these days called chapa mungalo. And chapa mungalo, you get a lease, let's say, of 49 or 99 years, but you must keep paying ground rent. So I tell people, are you comfortable staying on land where you have to be like you're renting? Of course, the monies are not high. These days, they're asking people for 50,000, 40, 80,000, but you pay it per annum. So let's say you're going to pay for the rest of your life and your children will still have to pay. On top of the premium that you paid in the beginning when you were getting the title, where you're going to spend a lot of money to get that chapa mungalo. So that kind of Chibanja land. Number two, there's also Chibanja that belongs to individuals. And those are the ones that they normally chase away these days. So you can get land at 5 million in form of a Chibanja, where you put 40 by 40, they sell to you a tiny plot of 40 by 40 feet, 25 by 25, 50 by 50, 40 by 30, those tiny things. You will find people selling them to you even at 3 million. Those ones are there almost anywhere. Of course, not in the city center, but most of the locations that I have been marking red, okay, as you can notice, in those very locations, you will find people selling to you at 5 million, but it will be Chibanja. You will not have a land title, and it will be, let's say, 20 by 20, 42 by 38, and it's like they are selling to you to only build a latrine. Option number two is a chunk of land far away, that with 5 million shillings, you can buy, let's say, an acre or two, but far away. And far away, if I may put for you in brackets here, I can even put like 120 kilometers from Kampala. So you can go that side of Nakasongola, Chiriandongo, you can go to, let's say, Rakai, you can go to Iganga, and find an acre of land at 5 million shillings. Those ones are there. Option three are installment payments that if you don't really have a lot of money, but you want to get in those locations that are maybe closer, in your opinion, you can negotiate an installment payment with a real estate company that is willing to give you time or wait. Okay? You can go deposit $1 million, deposit 500,000, deposit another $1 million, and let's say after 6, 7, 10 months, you have completed your plot payment. And then lastly is save and pay later. As long as you have a good and always save money, save and make up your 5 million or 6 or 10, and then you go and buy land. This one works where you have failed on option 3. Of course, we cannot deny the fact that we live in capitalism. Business is business. Very few people will allow you to be with their money for 8 months, 10 months, 1 year. Because, I mean, this is business. There is no way I am going to demand you for 2 years. Mbasikola. So if you fail to get that option, and of course, most companies will give you 2 months, 3 months. So if option 3 fails on you and you don't have anyone to wait, such that you'll be paying there small, then the only option you have is to save on your own, on your bank account, or in a circle, or in a savings group. And then after you make the 5 million, you pay later. Lastly is a loan, and go and get a loan in PSave, in Stanbic Bank. They give you a loan, you pay the person giving you the land, and then for you can pay the bank later, because for it is in the business of waiting for you to pay for them. That's all that I had for you today. Thank you, Rita, and everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Rogers. I don't know if people have questions, but maybe I'll start with a question. So if someone has their 5, 10, 15, 20 millions and they're buying land, one of my questions is, like, is that enough money? So for example, if I tell you, oh, I have 15 millions and then you get me land, is that enough money to complete everything until I have my land title in the hands in my names? Or there are extra expenses that people should bear in mind? Because you might buy and then they say, oh, now add 20, oh, now add 200,000, and now add 600,000. Which expenses should someone buying land bear in mind that they will have to incur that are not specifically tied on the initial purchase of land?
Okay. So usually your agreement, or what we call in Lagano, the one that you're signing, should be able to highlight or clean out all these things. The problem is that because, of course, because of our reading culture, people don't want to read the terms and conditions in the agreement, because business is agreement. Like when I'm selling to you, there are certain things that we are agreeing upon. So I'll tell you the 3 major expenses that could come later, and I will encourage you to always read, or rather agree with the person that is selling to you on the following things. Number 1 is the land title. Okay, so you should always agree with this person if the money that you are paying includes a land title or it doesn't. But honestly or ultimately, the money that you're paying for the land is supposed to include a land title. Let me see if I can share something else with you here.
And this land title in my names or in the names of the person selling to me, so that I can go and transfer it in my names myself? I think that's also, because those are also expenses.
Yeah, I am looking for something here to show you. I have to share this screen. Where is this thing? This one. There's has refused to share. Okay, I wanted to share with you something that has refused to share. So that is number one. Number two is the cost of transferring the land title from the name of the person that sold to you to your name. And then number three is what we call, usually, if you're not buying from a real estate company or anyone, is the cost of mutation or cutting you off the big title. Now, those are the three expenses where you must agree on who incurs the cost and who doesn't. But I was telling you, ultimately, on any normal day, when you're paying the money for the land, it is supposed to include a land title. And also, ultimately, on any normal day, the cost never includes the money to put the land into your name. That's like what we call a normal practice, or lawyers would call it implication or implied, maybe an implied condition or an implied term. So by implication, the money is supposed to include the land title. By implication, the money does not include transferring or changing the name to your name. It does not. But if you agree in the beginning that I'm paying you this money, it includes the land title, and it also includes changing into my name, then your agreement should spell that out. So those are the three main costs: cost of land title, cost of transferring. If you're buying from, let's say, bigger chunk, then you'll have to pay money to take you off the bigger land title. But the gist is your agreement. Mine is to let you know those costs. Yours is to always highlight them when you're buying and then agree about them. For me, all my clients, whatever money you pay includes your land title. I never ask you, now, leta emitwala tano, tukolere chapa. No. But once I give you your land title, now it is upon you to incur the cost to change from Rodgers Matovu to your name. And that's what I wanted to share with you, but the screen has refused. My agreement has, you shall incur your own cost of changing to your name. But my agreement still has that it is my responsibility to give you the title. So the key thing is your agreement. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions in the I think people, do you have any more questions? Do you have any questions? Do you have any budget that you would want him to dissect and tell you where to find land? I don't know.
So if you notice, it has actually allowed to come what I wanted to share with you. So if you note, number two, the vendor is under obligation. The vendor is the seller to deliver duly signed transfer forms, consent forms, duplicate certificate of title, together with their identification documents and passport photos upon the execution of the agreement to enable the purchaser transfer the land into his names at his own cost. Okay? So up here is my obligation. I must give you the title, photos, my ID, and consent forms. Then from here, the purchaser transfer the land into his names at his own cost. So that should always come out in your agreement. But people are made to sign agreements with very many words, as you know, lawyers, and then they have not agreed on certain things. But these things are always supposed to be there in the agreement. For example, if you notice, I always tell my buyer that if you fail to pay my balance within this time, this will happen. You see, in the event that the purchaser fails to pay any balance within the stipulated time, the vendor shall be entitled to recover back his land described above and return the sum paid by the buyer after resale of the same plot to another purchaser. The purchaser shall incur costs amounting to 5% of the purchase value. Because I've also seen, now this man is taking back the land. He doesn't want to give me my money. Now he has done this. It's because you hadn't agreed about these things. So me, I'll tell you that everything we are agreeing. If you don't pay me my money in the 10 months we've agreed, I'll take back the land. But when I take back the land, you also don't ask me for the money immediately because I don't have it. So I'll tell you that I'll first do what? Sell to another person. When I sell it, the money that Rita has given me, I'll give it to you. But I'll also not give it to you, the whole of it. I'll remove 5% of it. So if you paid 10 million, 500,000 is going. Why? I drove you in my car, fuel went, maybe I even paid brokers, I printed the agreement, I signed, and my time. All these things can be quantified. So your agreement should always be very key. There are very many things that you should always agree about.
Thank you so much, Rodgers. I don't know if people have questions. There was, please, if you have a question, you can put up your hand, but also there's another, before you joined, people were wondering about when they buy land and either someone has planted beans there, or at that point you really have nothing to do with the land, how you can keep it safe, extra costs. Are people allowed, like if you find when someone is growing maybe banana plantations in your land, are you allowing them to first harvest the plantations? So they're wondering how that works, because now those are village things, village issues, kind of community issues that we need to know how to navigate. As people are asking, please, if you have any questions.
Okay. I'll also now take you back to my agreement here as I answer that question. You read number 6. Okay, number 6. The vendor shall introduce the purchaser to the area LCs as the new owner of the above described property. You people go to villages, you buy land, and then you move away. No one knows that you've bought. The neighbor doesn't know that you've bought. The LC doesn't know that you've bought. Actually, some of you go and see, and then you come back to your office at 1 day, and then you pay the money, and then you go back after 9 months. That is not wise. You get my point? It's not wise at all. So to try and answer that question, please always buy the land from where the land is, unless you're buying from me now that you know me. But please buy your land from where the land is. I always tell people we want to save 100,000 in order to lose 10 million. You want to save 200,000 in order to lose 20 million. All the years that I've bought land, I think it can be one time or none where I have not paid from where the land is. Nze nkusasulira awo ku ttaka. And you know now me, I buy in bulk. I pay you from there where the land is. But if now for you, since you saw the land on Monday and you have the man on Wednesday, you feel you went there on Monday, you don't want to go back on Wednesday. Please go back on Wednesday, tell this man that sente ngenda zikuwa ku Lwokusatu nzikuwera ku ttaka. Because you see, as you're signing these agreements and you're doing everything, neighbors are there, bypassers are watching. Even this woman that is planting matoke and the onions and the sweet potatoes is always there seeing that you're paying for the money, for the land, mwalimira. Number 2, me, this is how I do it. As a condition, when I pay you, everything that is in the land is mine. If you don't want, we don't deal. That is how I do. To the owner, because the owner, usually these plantations are not for the owner. Maybe as he was in Kampala, he left Mama Nakanwaji to be farming their sweet potatoes. So I tell him, please go and settle with Mama Nakanwaji. Oba muwaye emitwalo 2, oba muwaye emitwalo 3, but me, when I buy, everything in the land is mine, or take it away tomorrow. Those are always my conditions. And I have on very many occasions allowed to lose 300,000 or 500,000 to compensate Mama Nakanwaji immediately. Why? When you leave Mama Nakanwaji, nomuga Mama Nakanwaji nkuwadde emyezi ena ogyemu amatooke go. In those 4 months, she will put beans. Now, as the beans are about to be harvested, she says, can't take more sorry. Now, for you come after 5 months, you want to use the land, the woman is sorry, are starting to put on, and humanly, you cannot destroy the woman is kasori. Now, if you're not careful, that process can go on for a year. She puts your wogo, kale kanzije muogo wangono just wa miezi esatu. Me, I don't allow. When I am paying you, everything at that point is mine, or take it away immediately. Me, when I pay on Monday, by Friday, I'm grading. And I have paid everyone. Usually, when I'm negotiating with the seller, ettako litunda million 2, ngenda kuwa million 197. Million 3 zigenda kusasula bitooke ne muwogo abantu abo baveemu. Kale ngenda kuwa gwe beesotolingire. Nze ngenda beesotolingira babeerewo nga nkusasula. So as I am paying him, Mama Nakanwaji is seated there in the corner, waiting to be compensated. I grade. Me, that's how I do it.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's an interesting conversation, because most times
I have like a small question, Rodgers, about paying from the land. We've had, how do you ensure safety? Because we've also seen people who have been killed because they've carried money, or they know they've come to purchase that land. How do you ensure safety for that? And then also in terms of like to say the people leave immediately. Like sometimes if you're not going to develop the land, how do you advise that someone keeps it? For example, for you, you're into real estate, so you're buying and you're going to resell, but how do you advise that someone akaguze ka plot ke ka 5 million, but they have no plan to develop it maybe for a year or 2? How would you then advise to keep that land? And maybe they also don't have the logistics, like you've said, it's 50 kilometers. The logistics to keep moving to that land, because we are buying into the future. How do you advise that someone keeps that land? Because sometimes while also the bushes, or you may not have money to keep paying someone to manage that land. Help us navigate that part.
Okay. So I'll begin with the issue of, safety, blah, blah, blah. Risk is something existent. Risk is something existent in almost everything that we do. Probably even when you're paying money, it's in your office or in your house or in a hotel or in a nearby restaurant, maybe some people can still ambush you. So I would say it is a constant that is hard to navigate, but I could say don't move alone, move with a friend or 2. Okay. Usually the LC is also another measure of safety, that usually you'll have the LC and like 2 other people around. Move with a car. Don't move with money on a border, move with money in a car. At least when I go and park in Chirolo, money is in the car. I have locked the car. So because usually you lock the car and then you're writing the agreement. So of course there's now that little bit of safety, because what I'm seeing now is it is of course unlikely that thugs will come, beat your car, take the money out of the car. That is so extreme and unlikely. So move with the car, let money be in the car, be about 2 or 3 friends. You'll sit at the LC, or the LC will come to the land. You write everything. And once everything is agreed, then that's when you pull out money from your car, let's say 10 million, 8, and then you give the other man, you hand over the money. So he's counting, but he's counting when there are about 7 people, because he also will not come alone. A land deal or a land transaction that has 2 people or 3 people always has question marks. Usually, if you've ever bought land, the land transaction will have a minimum of 5 people. Because you have come with your friend or 2, then the LC is there maybe with their secretary. Even the other seller has come with someone. So usually 6, 7 people, which bridges some sort of safety. So in summary, you will not really be alone. It will be about 5, 6 people. Move with the money in the car. It is a little bit of safe that way, because I've done it that way. I've never faced a problem. And now I deal, let's say, hundreds of millions, and it's always safe. I move with my money in the car. I always have, let's say, my other 2, 3 friends who are also in cars. So we move with about 2, 3 cars. And then we at the LC with like 4 other people. There's always that sense of safety. Unless guys one time come with guns and then they shoot us and then break the car and then move the money in the car, which seems unlikely, because really we are not advertising ourselves that, hello, we are moving on Ginger Road, we have money, muje. And also probably, of course, people rarely know how I'm moving. I always tell them I'm going to come, let's say, like at this time. I can come a little bit later or earlier. This guy is a little bit like that. But of course, if thieves wanted you, they will still do everything to get you. But we trust in the Lord for protection. And then securing your land. There is something I rarely advise people to do, is to fence land. Why? There's an option that is safer than fencing. Why I don't advise people to fence land is because your car 500 is going to go for nothing. Why is it going to go for nothing? There are things you can do before buying that will keep your land even better than the fence, because they can come tomorrow and pluck out your fence. Or they can come tomorrow and steal your barbed wire. Actually, another reason I don't advise people to fence is because someone is going to come and steal the barbed wire. You're not there in Ibujuko. They steal the barbed wire and take it, yet you incurred 600. So in the beginning here, telling Mama Nacheje to go away, slashing your land, making sure all your stones are there, that is safer. Because it is also unlikely that someone will come on land that you bought when everyone was seeing. It told Mama Nacheje ebintu byo bijjemu n'abijjamu ettaka ne libeera nga kalu. It is unlikely. This is in my own experience, that they will come back and then plant. Because the plantations I found you people talking about are those ones that you found there. But it is unlikely. I've found very few cases where your plot was empty in Jan. Then you go back in August and then some woman has put there bitoke. It is unlikely. Of course, my experience is estate land. People always fear estates. Hey, how can you just enter an estate of 8 acres with like 40 plots? Then you're not kusimba busimbi. But even the reverse is true for other plots. Because it takes a lot of boldness for someone to enter your plot and then start digging those huge holes for bitoke. It means either they have a claim that the land is theirs, or someone told them that they can't just wake up in the morning and then just go and find your plot and start digging. Because they also fear for their 100,000, because they know what jira ogenda kubijjamu, or they fear for other reasons as well. So safeguard your plot at the beginning than later. Because if you're trying to safeguard later, it means you're is it called firefighting? Nti kati ate waliwo kyolwanyisa ekyakulema okulwanyisa in the beginning. So always sort the beginning than the end. Unless you have a lot of money to fence the land with the bricks and mortar right away. But also yoka 600 of barbed wire, simanya chain link, No, what I tell people these days, maybe just put concrete poles, 4 of them, each 10,000. Kulea akasenyu ka mutwalo, kaseminti kebiri, n'obuyinja bwa mutwalo, oyo omwana wa lebe emitwalo ebiri, and spend 110. Those concrete poles that you only put in the corner. But barbed wire, chain link, no, don't waste that money. So to the beginning, you are no mukugula. As long as everything is clean, no one will walk into your property. Okusima ebinnya by'ebitooke. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's a question someone sent me directly, and the person was asking if you have land along Gayaza Kayunga Road, if you have plots there. I think I can connect you guys with her, and you can have the discussion. Is that okay? And maybe just to highlight, the land there is not, they've given us a presentation, and the land along Gayaza Kayunga Road may not be 5M, maybe a bit more expensive, but I know Rodgers has good deals. So he has good deals, good payment plans, and his land is legit. So I'm hoping to just connect you and him, and then you have this discussion and he shares with you the different options. Rodgers, you can maybe expound on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nakano Kankaiseo. We have land, by the way, that we sell. Like I shared with you on the first class, the first Zoom. I work with a real estate company called Planet Estates Limited. We have land that we sell around. If you look at your screen, we have Country Estate in Chirolo Lwemwedde. Chirolo is along Matuga Central Road. When you reach Matuga town, branch on your left for about 15 kilometers on tarmac. And then the estate is 3 kilometers off tarmac. And we are selling each plot at 9.5 million shillings. The place is very lovely and it looks nice as you see the picture, though I could say it is where we say starting to develop. And there's an offer for everyone on this group. We shall give you a plot at 9 million shillings with the land title. The only cost you'll incur is to change into your name. That is number one.
You just mentioned my name, and they'll give you the land title at 9 million.
Yes. Those of you that could be attending the class, but you have a lot of money, we also have, let me go here. We also have another estate within Chirolo at 13.5 million. For it, it is just 1 kilometer of tarmac. I can say a little bit more developed. Still Chirolo follows the same description that I've given you. And then we also have, for those ones who have made too much money for now, Chiyunga Town Estate. In Chiyunga Town. Chiyunga Town is along Mukono Kalaji Kayunga Road. Actually, the lady that is asking Gayaza, what did she say? Gayaza Kayunga Road?
Yes.
Could be interested in this estate. I should say it is close to that road, very close. When you reach Kalaji, take your right as if you're coming back to Mukono. The estate is nearby, just 100 meters off the tarmac. Though, like I told you, those locations prices are high. If you look up there where I have put my cursor, we sell a plot of 50 by 100 at 27 million shillings in Chiyunga town. But for the group, those of you that have saved some money, we encourage you to come and get a plot in our country estate in Chirolo Lwemwedde. We have in very many other locations, but you can reach me and I will share with you everything we have. Though the only thing within range is this estate of 9.5 million. Everything else is above 14 million. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rogers. I'm going to get your contacts and your offers, and I think I will post them on my WhatsApp, because I know some people usually listen to these conversations afterwards. Some people usually ask me for the YouTube recording, and I hope each person that listens to this conversation is able to secure for themselves land. Land is very sensitive in my, I can't say experience, but I know land is very sensitive, so it's better for you to get someone trusted. Otherwise, like the story we started with in the beginning, you may find the land you bought has been taken. So please use a very good real estate company that you can trust, that is legit. And I've got so many testimonies of people that have bought land from Rodgers and they keep saying it's legit land, and he doesn't shift goalposts. If he said 9 million with the land title, he'll give you 9 million with the land title. So please.
And also to answer Lillian's question, in line with our estates, it is our obligation to keep your plot until the day you build. So you don't have to go back at any Zimbium. You can go on your own courtesy, but our agreement stipulates that it is our obligation for us to keep your plot safe until the day you build, in 20 years, 15 years, 9 years. As long as you're inside our estate, you're inside our protection.
Lillian,
Nice.
yeah,
so,
please spread word to your friends, to your colleagues, to everyone that wants to buy land, that Rodgers is the real deal. I'm going to get for you guys the posters, and in case you need further information, you can always reach out to me. And I think we don't have any more questions. Let me stop the recording.